Good morning, I'm Georgia Bodez and welcome to Exploration Navigation News. At the end of the Middle Ages, Western Europe had changed greatly from what it had been after the fall of Rome. Feudalism had disappeared and merchants and traders played a big role in economic growth. The people of the Renaissance were very eager for knowledge and had a thirst for riches. They were ready to explore the world around them. In this rebirth, the first great European explorations occurred. Their voyages starting from Spain, Portugal, England, France, and Holland. Today, we are going to be going into the past and talking to explorers from the Renaissance. Let's go over to Soraya Lalani, who will be speaking with a European expert on the riches of Asia.
Hi, I'm here with European expert on the riches of Asia. She has studied the different products and other riches that Asia is known for.
Hello, yes, I am an expert on the riches of Asia that follows their popularity and the regain of their popularity in ancient Europe.
So what types of products did Asia have to offer that Europe didn't?
Well, there are many types of products that Asia offered, such as silk, sandalwood, teak, oils, gold, and jewels.
Wow, that's quite a few. So why were these products so popular in Europe?
Europeans, foreign places were full of wealth and mystery, so they were very intrigued to buy Asia's products because they were so unfamiliar with them. They stocked up on all these products so that they could get the full experience of the resources of the world. Unfortunately, limited quantities of these products were available to Europeans over the years.
Now, I heard that after the Crusades, these luxurious items became more of a necessity in Europe. Is this true?
It sure is. Once the Crusades had ended, more of the goods from Asia were brought to Europe. For example, before the Crusades, only the very rich could afford pepper. In fact, they bought it to eat as a delicacy for dessert. By the early 15th century, almost all Europeans used pepper in their daily life to flavor their meat that had been stored over the cold winter months.
It sounded like these goods were becoming very popular in Europe. So how did Asia's goods get over to the European land?
Asia could be reached only by overland trade routes. There were many difficulties that came with transporting these goods to Europe.
What caused the fall of popularity of Asia's goods and products?
Well, in 1453, the city of Constantinople fell to a Turkish army, ending the Eastern Roman Empire. This then closed the door to Eastern Asia. Even though this was a huge disaster for Venice and Genoa, people from Spain, Portugal, France, Holland, and England had no problem. If they could find new routes to Asia, then they could have goods such as silks, porcelain, spices, and even gold at their fingertips. That's when they started to consider sea routes to get to Asia.
It sounds like the fall of Rome was tough on many different countries. So what happens next? Did Europe just forget about the riches of Asia?
Absolutely not. The world was proven to be round as opposed to the old theory of it being flat. Then more trade routes opened up and Europeans were able to reach Asia by sailing westward. From this, other continents were discovered, growing the knowledge of the world once again.
This has been Soraya Lalani here on location with our Asian riches expert. Back to you, George.
Sounds like Asia had many riches and goods to share with Europe. Let's travel over to Portugal in the year 1455. Over to you, Soraya.
Good morning, everyone. I am here in Portugal with Prince Henry the Navigator in year 1455. Prince Henry, I believe that you love ships and navigation.
That's right, Soraya. I love ships and navigation. Gathering information from all the voyages I went on and the trade routes I crossed was indeed one of my passions and is what I pursued in my life.
If I'm correct, you also sponsored the development of new navigational equipment?
Yes, I also built the Institute for Study of Navigation at Sagres. I did have a very good court life, but I left and went to study at Sagres for 40 years. I sent out many expeditions to Africa, and I really encouraged my crew to be risk takers and sail past the equator even though they believed that sailing was far too south meant destruction. Because my lovely crew listened to me, we discovered lots of new minerals and spices.
So, one of your expeditions had a dreadful outcome?
Dreadful? What are you talking about dreadful?
No, the slave traders?
No. That was wonderful. Let me tell you a short summary of that wonderful event. So, on one of our voyages, we were pleasantly sailing along when our Portuguese ship met an Arab slave trader ship. So we decided to bring them back from their misery to Portugal, where they could work for us in great conditions and live very well. We started the amazing slave trade across Europe and America, allowing many people to live better in great conditions.
Well, in the year 2012, slave trading is not considered very respectable. Well, at least in Canada. Back to you, Georgia.
Sure have changed over time. Now Soraya is over with Christopher Columbus to talk about his voyages as a Spanish sea explorer. Soraya?
Hello, I'm here with Christopher Columbus himself to talk about his work in exploration and other Spanish sea explorers. Can you explain what you did to change the world through exploration?
Of course. In the year 1492, Spanish forces captured Granada, which was the last stronghold of Muslims in Spain. Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand were in power and wanted to participate with the spice and other goods trade with Asia. Luckily for Spain, I was able to navigate a route to Asia from Spain by sailing west. My voyages created a huge Spanish empire in the Americas and the Pacific Ocean. I changed Spain from a small, young country to a country in world power.
Wow, that's incredible. What other voyages did you embark on?
Well, when I was young, I studied the Ptolemy theory of geography and became convinced that the world was round and not flat. From this discovery, many voyages became possible and far less dangerous. I planned to take a ship across the Atlantic Ocean to establish a new trade route to Asia. Unfortunately, this was a very expensive voyage and I needed royal support to be able to embark on it.
So, were you able to complete the voyage?
Well, this is when I met Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. They agreed to support me and helped pay the expenses. So, I sailed first to the Canary Islands and from there I sailed west along the 28th parallel. So far, I had been sailing for a month, and I began to lose hope about finding land. My crew and I decided that if after 3 days we didn't find land, we would turn back.
Did you find land?
The chances were looking weak, but on the third day we sighted land. It was the island of San Salvador. The inhabitants of the island were very surprised to see us, but eventually they welcomed us in. In January of 1493, I returned to Spain with 12 San Salvador natives I had kidnapped. After that, I made several more successful voyages back to the America.
Wow, that is quite the story. No wonder the President of the United States of America has a day to celebrate you every year.
I had no idea. I feel so honored.
Yes, you should. Anyways, back to Georgia.
That's incredible! I had no idea how much Columbus had discovered. So, what happened in 1525? Oh yes, the conquistadors. Let's see which conquistadors Soraya is with.
Thanks, Georgia. I'm here with Hernan Cortez in the year 1525. He's one of the most famous Spanish conquistadors of all time. He's going to tell you a bit about what he does. Hernan?
Hola, Soraya. Hola, insignificant people of the world. My name is Hernan Cortez, the great explorer and conquistador. Well, you are welcome to bow before us.
I think I'm good. I'm sure we've all heard of what you've done, but if you could tell us more about...
Or maybe you could just call me magnificent. Great seems a little too modest.
That's wonderful. Now, if you could please tell us what you've done.
Yes, I was getting there, no need to be rude. My most famous conquest was of the Aztec Empire in 1519. I sailed across to Mexico looking to find my fortune in the New World. My loyal crew stuck with me to be told.
But wasn't that because you burned your own ship so that they couldn't return home?
Details. It's really not the point. I cleverly made an alliance with the Lascan, the enemies of the Aztec. My plan was to take over the Aztec Empire. Nice and simple. Fortunately, I came at the right time. The foolish leader of the Aztecs, Montezuma, was incredibly superstitious, and my arrival coincided with that of some white-skinned god, Quetzalcoatl or something like that.
Don't you mean a Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah, that. Anyways, he welcomed me into his capital city. What an idiot. Well, we took him prisoner as a bribe to set himself free. He gave us the golden treasure. We kindly accepted and set him free.
But wasn't Mozuma stoned to death by his own people because they thought he was a traitor?
Yes, and he deserved it. What kind of person sacrificed a huge prize in order to save himself?
Well, whatever. So, did you ever defeat the Aztecs?
Of course. It took several bloody battles in the aid of Tlaxcalan, but we did it.
Weren't you also helped by the smallpox, the deadly disease that you brought over from Spain?
We would never do that. It's cheating.
Okay, whatever you say, but within a year of your arrival, nearly 3.5 million Aztecs had died.
Are you accusing me of cheating and calling me a liar? I cannot stand your incompetence. Goodbye, Soraya. Ira morir unejano.
I have no idea what that means, but it can't be good. I guess that ends our visit with the Spanish conquistadors.
Wow, the conquistadors are really amazing. Look, now Soraya is in London with, I believe, a French man and an English woman. Let's take a closer look.
Hey Georgia, we're here in 1540 with Annabelle Granger and Jean-Paul Morin.
Hello.
Enchanté, mademoiselle.
Okay. Annabelle, you're from England, right?
Rightio. I've always envied the Spanish and all the loot we've brought over from the New World.
Et moi, mon chéri. But alas, none of the riches in this world compare to your beauty.
So us, the English, built ships that were faster and stronger than any the Spanish could ever build.
Oh yes, that must have given you a great advantage against the Spanish.
Indeed it did. It gave us the ideal chance to loot the Spanish ships. We didn't even have to go that far into the ocean. We just had to attack their ship, kill their captain, and steal all their booty.
Hey, isn't that illegal?
Pretty sure it is. But our glorious Queen Elizabeth I completely supported the whole endeavour, and mostly because half of the treasure we collected went to her.
Sounds like a great plan. Is there anything else noteworthy about English explorers around this time?
Well, off the top of my head, John Hawkins was one of the first to develop a slave trade to North America and Africa.
Well, all of your doing sounds very legally supported. What about you, Jean-Paul? What have your French explorers done?
Mon bon ami Jacques Cartier sailed across the Atlantic Ocean 3 times. But I would sail around the world just for you, my love.
Well, isn't that just peachy?
Jacques also discovered Quebec in Canada and claimed it for France. But if I found Quebec, I will claim it for you. No, pour nous! And I live happily and watch the sunsets and well, Soraya, I've only known you for these short moments, and I feel a connection between you and me.
Nope, just you. Oh, Lord.
Will you marry me?
Back to you, Georgia.
Peace, Soraya. Well, that was a wonderful show. So much changed in the world between the years of 1400 and 1700. Thank you for watching. I'm Georgia Bodez, and be sure to tune in next week for our episode of Exploration Navigation.
Well, in 14... Move your mic away. It's like... Will you marry me?
Yes! Microphone. Are you a call?
But within a year of your arrival, nearly 3.5 Aztecs died.
Oh yes, the conquistadors. Damn it! no, you can edit this. Just keep going, I'm ready. Okay. That's incredible. It's incredible. I had no idea. Wow.
Georgia whips her hair back and forth. She whips her hair back and forth.
I'm dizzy. Woo! I'm actually not.